the companies like Facebook and stuff, and TikTok's probably the worst, but all the Instagrams, it's been shown in studies that depending on what they suggest to you, they can sway your vote on a candidate or an election.
Welcome to Into the Desert, exploring the wilderness of ideas. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to support our channel, support us over on Patreon. There's a link in the description.
The companies like Facebook and stuff, and TikTok's probably the worst, but all the Instagrams, they are very large corporations with a lot of money being spent on how to keep people on their phones. They used to be, they tracked what you did so they would know what advertisements to put in front of you. And they would go out and they would, they would sell people, say, yeah, we will put your advertisement in front of people. Nowadays, they're using behavioral psychologists, and they're moving into we will guarantee so many sales because we will manipulate people. You see this in Zukauf's book, Age of Surveillance Capitalism. And that works not only for projects, but think about the implications for democracy, where these companies have the ability to sway votes simply by when you type in a search term and it suggests things to you. It's been shown in studies that depending on what they suggest to you, they can sway your vote on a candidate or an election. And are they doing that? Who knows? They would say, no, of course not. We would never do that. No big corporation ever, exploits the information that they have. Right.
One of my friends, we were talking one day and they were having a conversation in their bedroom, and then the kid was out in the other room on his phone, and he comes in and he shows the ad for the conversation his parents were having in the bedroom. And it makes you wonder, how much are they using to put those ads? Yeah. And if they know that you think a certain way, if you think liberal, if you think conservative, if you're questioning, they're going to show you things that relate to how your brain is already thinking, and it reinforces those thinkings, and it drives more division, and people don't know how to think anymore. They're not learning the skills to critically think through the information they're getting, because they're just getting that constant positive feedback and that positive reinforcement to whatever they already think, because the technology is designed to lean them towards that way. And that's why I feel like there are certain sites that are seeing that trend and trying to work hard to break that and to show more balanced things and not to be one-sided or the other. But when it comes to trying to make money, it's really easy to say, well, you're interested in Bibles. Here's 15 Bible sites that you can go buy Bibles on. Or, oh, you're interested in gardening. Here's 15 gardening sites, and you can get money that way because we know you like gardening. We know you like these things, so we're going to show you those things.
But it also works the other way. I mean, we talk about interference by foreign governments in our elections. One of the things that our adversaries do is they use these same technology tools to foment division and strife within the country. I mean, people like to think of all the foreign countries, they're out trying to support my opponent, right? I'm one party, they're obviously supporting the other party. No, they actually don't. They do interfere in our elections, and they really don't care who wins. What they want is to format instability, they want to format anger, they want to format division, so that when people look at their opponents, one of the things democracy needs is it needs people to actually discuss things. And so one of the things our adversaries do is they use social media to foster division and to actually polarize people apart. They're not just disagreeing with you, they're actually evil. They're terrible. You can't even talk to those people. The only thing you can do is defeat them. Well, democracy
they're fascists,
can't function.
They're Nazis, they're communists, they're whatever slang word you want to use against them.
Yeah, and democracy can't function like that. Democracy needs the citizens to actually talk about what they're doing and seek a resolution. A democracy that is based on division and defeating the opponents will not last very long, because eventually each side will go after each other, and then finally one side will bring down the democracy just to make sure the other side doesn't win.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I feel like, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but it wouldn't surprise me if China uses TikTok to train the brains of our children to sway the end of our democracy, to drive the hatred to America, the hatred of our process.
That's not exactly a conspiracy theory. That's just what adversaries do. I mean, it's one of the big concerns with TikTok is they're collecting all of this data, but they're, frankly, they're not using it. And so people who think, oh, TikTok's not too bad or China's not too bad, well, that's fine. So what if they get all my data? What are they going to do? I don't care. Well, what if China wanted to take over Taiwan, which their president has said he wants to do by 2027? And so their opening gambit is to remove the United States from interest in Taiwan by zeroing out everybody's bank account overnight. They've collected all this data. They have all the information. What if just overnight they took all the data? What would happen in this country? And with all the turmoil going on and everyone trying to figure out why their bank accounts are now zero, would we be interested in what China did in Taiwan? No, probably not. And that's actually one of the things that, they may do. They're an adversary, and they're collecting all this data. You can say, oh, maybe they're just doing it for good purposes. Well, if that's true, why do they have different apps for use in their own country than they allow overseas?
Yeah. Well, and that's why there's a lot of the banking institutions and even, what is it, the FBI or CIA, I don't remember exactly which one, put out a warning a month or two ago saying you need to stop texting passwords because these apps are putting malware onto your phone, onto your devices, that even if you took a picture with a password and sent that via text message, they have that now and they can parse through to get your passwords. Yeah. So theoretically, they could do those things. They could get into your bank account, get into your social media, get into everything that you hold dear and wipe it out. Well, digitally dear, not physically dear, but...
Yeah, of course they could. And people are sort of trusting that they won't, but it's like, why? Why would you trust a foreign power that is committed to basically, becoming the dominant world power and reducing down the rest of the world? If China wants to be the number one, and you can say, well, the United States wants to be the number one. True, but the United States is, for example, we take for granted freedom of the seas. The freedom of the seas has been something for several hundred years. First, it was maintained by the British, and then it was maintained by the United States since World War II. And if you want to know what happens when you don't have freedom of the seas, look at what's going on right now. We have a problem with Somali pirates taking out commerce, and so that 70% of the commerce is being rerouted around the Horn of Africa because they don't want to risk their ships being taken by pirates. Okay, that's affecting everybody. Well, what if that wasn't just off the coast of Africa? What if that was the situation all around the world? World trade would dry up, and where would we be then? It's hard for us to imagine because the world's not had that situation for several hundred years. So what would happen if it suddenly came back? There's so much that we take for granted, and we don't really know because we don't study history. We don't know how we got to be where we are today, and therefore we have no idea how to protect it.
Yeah, and I will say when it comes to what my children know, I spend a lot of time with them. We listen to a lot of books and we watch a lot of really cool educational things that we then analyze as a family. We talk through, well, what does this mean? Well, why is it that way? Well, hey, remember when you saw this? Remember when we watched that? Remember when we talked about this? Do you see how these things put together? And I'm trying to teach my kids that it's all connected. Everything is connected in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important to understand what happened before, because if you understand what happens before, you can see the signs when it happens again. Because it's not an if, it's a when. Like, history is cyclical. Things happen again because we don't really learn because we think it's different. And we fall into the same traps that our forefathers did because we don't know enough about what happened before to prevent it from happening again. And yes, it might not be a physical attack, it might be a cyber attack, but it'll be just as crippling. And not being able to understand what that means and how it connects and how they have a wonderful life. And not everybody has that. They can go and look at whatever they want on YouTube. But if you go to China, you can't. China has a special YouTube. They have a special Google. Everything they have is special so that they control what you can and cannot see. And I don't think that our children, and maybe, some of it's age, they can't quite understand that, but they don't even have that exposure to understand what they have compared to everyone else.
Yeah, how could they?
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think. Is technology good? Is technology evil? Somewhere in between? Let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.